Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Punk Frogs, Rasputin, and Genghis. And before we get into this review, I want to give a huge shout out to Tuesday crew member Chatlord for hooking me up with this set and saving me the trouble of going to 1,000 targets and finding nothing. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. But let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with the packaging. It does have the standard NECA animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles style packaging. It does look really cool. We can see the figures right here through the window. Up front, we get some artwork. On the side of the box, we get a look at Genghis. On the opposite side, we get a look at Rasputin. On the back, we get a look at both of the figures, and then we just have some general information about the Ninja Turtles. And then down here, we get a look at some figures that have already been released, and then one that hasn't. So I'm looking forward to getting some more of these foot soldiers with this new Ultimate Foot Soldier. That's going to be dope. But yeah, check this out. Let's go ahead and open this up and take a look at something else that I want to show you guys real quick here. When you pull the figures out, there's this little background in here, and it's kind of like a swamp. So this is kind of cool. I might want to try to use that for some pictures or something. It's not very big, so you know, you might have to add some other stuff and make it work, but I still think that's pretty cool. But yeah, anyways, enough about the packaging. Let's go ahead and take a look at these awesome figures. And so here we have Rasputin and Genghis right out of the box, and these are both very impressive figures. I pretty much fell in love with them instantly, but I did have to put them under hot water in order to get the joints to move around because things were a little stiff. Nothing that was too concerning, but I still felt that it was necessary to put them under the hot water just to get things to move without any issues. Once I did that, we were good to go, and that really wasn't that big of a deal. I think that process took me maybe about 10 minutes, and just after heating things up, I mean, all the joints freed up. Like, there wasn't any big problems. I didn't have to do anything too crazy. For the upper bicep, I did kind of have to pop the arm out in order to get that to move. But once I did that, everything was all good to go. So my advice to you, if you get these figures, make sure to heat up the joints. All I used was hot water. I put them in hot water for a few minutes. I would take them out, move the joints around, let the figures cool. And then once the figure's cool, that's really when the joints start to move. And if something doesn't move after it cools down, put it back in the hot water, let it get soft again, take it out, and just do the same thing over and over until all the joints are moving freely. I did that with these guys for about 10 minutes, and since doing that, these things have been freaking awesome and just so much fun. I haven't been able to put Genghis down. I took him out of the box first because I was so excited about these figures, so I took him out. And I was messing with him all week. Like, I wanted to take him to work with me, all that stuff, because he's just such a fun figure. And then I opened up Rasputin right before doing this review, and he was equally as fun. But yeah, these things are just so awesome. Look at them. They're just so silly, you know? But yeah, they just look great. NECA always does a really great job of translating the cartoon feel into plastic form. They have all these little tricks that make it work for them, like doing the two-tone colors and the lines and all that. All those things are very effective in making a piece of plastic feel like something from an animation. And these figures are basically identical to each other. They're just different colors. But let's go ahead and take a very quick close look at each one of them, starting off with Genghis. I really like the way this guy looks, and I always appreciate the techniques that NECA uses to give figures the animated feel. Like, I love the two-tone green that we have going on. We have the darker green in the back, and then it goes to the light green here in the front. And then on the cheeks here, we have these circles that are super clean. It's all the clean paintwork that makes it look animated, you know. We have all these simple just little lines everywhere, and it just makes it look like a living cartoon, you know. But this is very well done. We have some more circles on the nose here. The eyes are very white and clean. And moving down into the body, he does have his purple jacket with the mustard yellow spots on it. And the jacket is soft plastic, so it does get out of the way when you're moving the figure around. And again, we have all these lines here. The arms have more of that two-tone action going on. We have the light green in front, the dark in the back. And just like a lot of other NECA figures, there's some paint in the joints, so when you start moving the figures around, you could see some flaking. I think more so on this side, yeah. But it's not really a big deal. The torso is a little plain. He doesn't have any muscle definition or anything, but he is a frog, so I think that's okay. He does have his necklace here. The necklace is actually sculpted to the body, so you don't have to worry about that, you know, flopping around or anything like that. The pants are a soft plastic. They don't really get in the way of the articulation or anything, but one problem I'm having with Genghis is when I move his legs, the pants kind of get folded into there, and it could look kind of funny. So I'm continuously just kind of messing with this, trying to make it look right. So that's one thing that I wasn't happy about with this situation, but it seems to be unique to Genghis because Rasputin doesn't have that problem. And then next up, let's go ahead and take a look at Rasputin. Just like Genghis, this is a really good looking figure. His skin tone is a little bit darker, but we do still have that two-tone action going. You can see that it's really dark in the back and then it gets a little bit lighter, but still it's way darker than Genghis. And you can see that his jacket is orange with the purple spots, so it's like the inverse or reverse of Genghis. So that's fun. And then his necklace is actually a different color. It's not black, so they did add the black lines on there to give it that animated feel. And he's got some paint chipping in the shoulder here. But aside from that, the paint looks really good on him, and there's not a whole lot of chipping just in general, but that shoulder is definitely making a mess on my little table here. And you can see that his legs don't have the same problem that Genghis has. I can move his legs around without them getting tucked in there, so I was happy about that. And yeah, just in general, both of these are really good looking figures. They, I just love how goofy they look, you know? They make me laugh every time I pick them up and mess with them, so I'm really happy with the way these guys look. And as far as accessories go, both figures come with a lot of really great stuff. Some things that are unique between each figure, and then some things that they both have. Starting off with the things that they have in common, they both come with the turtle com. They both come with pre-transformation versions of themselves, and then they also both come with two different heads, and it looks like the two different sets of heads are identical to each other. Both figures have a smiling face, and then both of them have a worried face. And then as far as the unique stuff, they both come with their respective weapons. Genghis does come with his axe, and Rasputin comes with the bow and arrow and his quiver. And then they also both come with multiple sets of hands, but the sets of hands are different. The only ones that they both have in common are the gripping hands. But then aside from that, Genghis also comes with a set of fists and then a set of pointer fingers. And then Rasputin comes with another set of gripping hands that are a little bit looser than the other gripping hands. And then he also comes with a set of peace sign hands. And then Genghis also comes with his little disguise thing, and this is cool too. It's got like a big nose and a mustache and a hat. And I think this is intended for Genghis, but obviously you can use it on both figures if you want. And then the final accessory is a frog trap, and they only come with one of these, but I think this is a cool thing to include. And taking a close look at the accessories, starting off with Rasputin's bow, I think this is really nice. I like the details on it. It does kind of look like a piece of wood or something. And one thing that's really dope is that it actually has a string for a drawstring here. It's not like a piece of plastic. I don't know if it's called drawstring, but you guys know what I'm talking about. This piece here is an actual string, but there's not enough play to get him into a bow and arrow shooting pose, so that does kind of suck. I wish it was a little stretchier, but I like that it's an actual string, and then the bow itself looks really good. He does come with 4 different arrows. He's got like 3 of these regular arrowhead arrows, and then he has this guy right here, which kind of reminds me of like a Mario bomb thing. Got some detail on there. You could see some eyes painted on there. And then he does have the thing used to hold on to the arrows. I think it's called a quiver. I could be wrong though. I'm not an archer, so I don't know. But this does look good. And the arrows can fit in there nicely, but I wish it was kind of a tighter fit so they weren't falling all over the place. Because they don't really hold, you know, they fall right out. But I still love this. And then next up we have Genghis's axe. And this looks really nice too. I like how the blade has little dings on it and stuff. But one thing that does kind of suck is that the paint kind of scratched off right there on the handle from when he was holding it. So that's no good. But aside from that, I think this is a very cool looking axe. And then we have the turtle comms. And the turtle comms are nice, but I'm pretty sure we've seen these exact turtle comms before. But they do look good. Actually, I think all the previous turtle comms had like images on the screens. But these do not. So maybe these are different. But yeah, these are cool. Got a bunch of nice detail with the buttons and stuff. On the back we got some things going on. And then we do have the frog trap. The frog trap has some cool sculpted details on it. Not a whole lot going on, but they put some work into it. Then we have the disguise, which is hilarious, with the big nose and the mustache. I really like that. And the detail on the hat looks really good too, with the 2 tones and the lines and everything. So awesome stuff. And then last but not least, we have baby Genghis and baby Rasputin. And these are very well done too. They both have really nice paint work. They have the lines so they match the figures. So,
And
yeah,
now for some
cool.
size comparisons, let's go ahead and start it off with Genghis alongside the NECA animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder and Leatherhead. And next up we have Genghis alongside the Super 7 Bebop and the NECA Bebop. And I really like the size difference between the Super 7 figure and the NECA Genghis. I like how big Bebop is next to him. And I look forward to seeing what Super 7 does with the Punk Frogs. I'm sure they'll look just like the figures from back in the day. Super detailed. A bunch of crazy sculpt. I look forward to seeing how they do it. But yeah, I like the size difference between those two lines. And next up we have them alongside a NECA Foot Soldier and NECA Metalhead. And next up we have Rasputin alongside the SH Figure Arts Raphael and the Super 7 Raphael. And I think he looks pretty good with both of them. Even though the Super 7 is a little bit bigger, I still think they go together pretty well. And then here we have them alongside two of my favorite figures from this line. On the left we have Casey Jones and on the right we have Master Splinter. And then next up we have him alongside Leonardo, and this version of Leo came from the Comic-Con box set that came out a few years ago. And then on the opposite side we have Baxter Stockman. And then for the final size comparison we have Rasputin alongside Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. And as far as the articulation goes, I would say that these two figures are probably some of the most fun figures to actually handle and play with that we've seen from this line so far. So I was really happy to see that. But let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation using Rasputin as our example. Obviously, both of these figures have the same body, so we're not going to look at both of them. We're just going to look at Rasputin's articulation. And let's go ahead and start off at the head. So I really like the way they did the head joint. What we have going on here is a double ball joint. One ball joint goes into the torso and then the other ball joint goes into the actual head, and you get movement using both of those. So I think that's awesome because you could get some really fun poses out of the head with this kind of setup. So as you can see, you could get his head tilting a really good amount. Tilted to right there. Then you could get them to look side to side. You could get them to look up to about right there. They could look down to right there. So a lot of good movement at the head. I really like this setup. This is fun, you know. And then for the torso, we do have a mid-torso cut. Using that, you could go forward to about right there, which is not too bad, but I did wish that we got like a little bit more movement out of that. And then you could bring it back to about right there, but then the jacket kind of gets in the way, but it's still pretty good. And then you are able to twist at the diaphragm, and then you can move it side to side. They also have a waist swivel. And then for the arms, they do go all the way around. You can also bring them up to about right here. There we go. So not too bad. And then they also have upper bicep swivel right here at the sleeve of the shirt, so that's cool. It's well hidden and it works very well, so that's always nice. And then they do have single jointed elbows, which get about 90, which, you know, that's fine. I do wish that there was a little bit more range there, but as it is, you know, it still works. And then we also have a swivel at the elbow. We have a swivel at the hand, and then a hinge at the hand. For the legs, the hips are on little ball joints, so you could get his legs to come out to the side a really good amount. They could kick forward to about right there. They could come back to about right there. And usually with NECA figures, the swivel is up in here, like hidden along with the ball joint. In this case, the swivel isn't right here in the hip. It's actually in the upper thigh, which is nice because it's still hidden. It looks good, and it works very well, as you can see. Check that out. So that's cool. And then they do have double jointed knees, which get a really good bend. And then at the foot, we have rocking ankles. And then the feet can come forward to about right there. Then they could come up to right there. And yeah, that's about it for the articulation. So like I said, I think the articulation is pretty decent on these guys. And it's just a lot of fun to play with them. Like, even though there's some things I wish were a little bit different, mostly just the elbows. I feel like they maybe could have snuck in a double jointed elbow, or at least a 90 with a little bit more range. But aside from that, oh, and the torso. I wish the torso crunched forward a little bit more. But aside from those two minor things, I think the articulation is great on these guys, and they're a lot of fun. You could definitely get them into some cool kicking poses, the way they did the legs. But yeah, fun stuff. Like I said, these are probably some of the most fun
figures to play with out of the NECA animated turtle line. The articulation is very similar to like the Ninja Turtles figures, but we get a little bit more out of here since they aren't hindered by the shell. So yeah, these are very fun figures to mess around with, and I'm pretty happy with the articulation.
Alright, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, I think this is a great set. Both figures came out really nice. I know they're identical to each other, but I'm still having fun with each one of them on an individual basis. I think the set comes with a lot of really fun accessories. The figures are pretty posable. They're a lot of fun to play with. I would say that they're probably the most fun to play with out of all the NECA Ninja Turtles figures that have come out so far. A lot of them are great and everything, but there are articulation limitations. These guys have some slight limitations, but for the most part, I'm really enjoying just messing around with them. They're a lot of fun to play with, and they look great. They don't quite look the way that I remember them in my mind, but they still capture the spirit of them, and I just think that NECA did a great job all the way around on this set, and they continue to kill it with the Ninja Turtles animated stuff. I just really wish that they made them easier to obtain, because man, the Turtles in Disguise figures almost broke me. I almost didn't want to collect the line anymore because of how hard it's been to try to get those figures. I still don't have them in my hands. Somebody did find them and they sent them to me, but I just haven't received them yet. But I really do look forward to getting those figures, and I'm happy that these guys were a little bit easier to get, but damn, it shouldn't be so stressful trying to find these figures. And I know a lot of times that patience is the key, but with the NECA stuff, it seems like they hit and then they're gone and you never see them again. Sometimes there's restocks, but not very often. So I really wish that NECA would figure it out and make it easier for us to get these amazing figures, because so far I've been completely happy with almost every single one of the figures that they've released in this line. It's just the buying experience isn't necessarily pleasant. So hopefully they fix that. I'm very happy with these figures and I can't wait to get the other two. I think they're gonna look amazing together and it's gonna be fun to have them face off against the Turtles. But anyways, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. If you're not aware, I do go live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, and every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. So come through, hang out, let's talk about toys and get weird. Peace.